Hello, and welcome to episode 12 of When Pigs Fly. We welcome all our new subscribers and thank all of you who've been here with us from day one as well. And again, we welcome your comments. If you like what you're hearing, please hit that like button and subscribe. And also, we forgot to mention last episode, but thank you for all of you who are sharing this. This is the goal of our whole podcast is to create a community, find a tribe where you're comfortable, where you can share. And so we want to thank all of you for the shares. Keep it going. We know that there are more of you out there that need to find us. So with that said, we are going to today keep this conversation going about energy, and we want to talk specifically about expansion. During our we do little sidebars in between, and Renee brought up a really great point about how when we're doing this energy work, sometimes we keep thinking in terms of small, like just that we're in this little space. And so we want to really, in this episode, we're going to talk more about expansion and the beautiful effects, and that our goal is always to keep expanding. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times when we're thinking, and I know a lot of times, I pull a lot of my information from clients, because I think, that's a lot of you who are listening, whatever. And, if we haven't done things in a while, we forget, we forget to, oh, I'm going to, start to put the energy into this aspect, and I'm going to expand this. It's the thought. You don't have to actually feel it. If you have that thought be, I'm going to expand the energy of love. I'm bringing love into me. I feel love. I'm showering myself with love, however you want to say it, however you want to think it. And now I expand this out to the world. Just the thought of saying I'm expanding this, it does go out into the world. We have to actually have that whole thought recognizing and being, and recognizing when we're in this field of somebody's coming at you with something, and you're thinking, and Tracy, you've talked about this, so I'm going to throw this to you in a second. And it's that point of like somebody's coming at you with something, and you're like, you know what? No, this isn't where I want to be. This isn't what I'm creating for myself. I don't want to get into this entanglement. I don't want to, do this whole thing. So you hold that space of love, and you allow them. And Patty, you had talked about this, last time. You allow them to get all of their words, all of their frustration, whatever it is, out, but don't buy into it. Just expand out love, expand out peace, expand whatever comes to you, expand this out, because so much of people's energy in the world is so loud and so noisy, and that's where we're sort of adjusting ourselves to. And it's now time to come back in to you and recognizing and knowing that I am responsible for this, and I am creating this aspect. I'm creating this person coming to me for whatever reason. So what am I going to do to shift and change that? And I know, Tracy, you do this a lot in your field and in your business and whatever. Things are hitting you all the time. So how are you dealing with that?
That is so true. And I will say, we just spoke last episode about a big shift in energies that just happened this past weekend. And I think that I know myself, and probably Patty and Renee and a lot of other viewers that are listening, because you are listening, are going to be called to bring forth truth in a more powerful and focused way, more so now than ever. And I can say for me, just in the past couple of days, situations have dropped into my reality. And from one stance, you could say, how did this all come down this way? And it plopped right into my reality. And I have to say, by design, because this is going to open everyone's eyes in this situation. And Renee, like you said, showing up with a new level and version of truth, not playing into the old way that we used to do life. I'm going to keep it that broad. In my perspective, and I know for me, life just changed. It's been changing, but it's now go time. It's now, we're not in the dress rehearsal, we are going. So to really, you know, and I'm speaking to myself, you know, like, don't be lazy. Don't skip this opportunity. Because let me tell you, I've had quite a few situations in the past few days that I could have taken the easy way out and just let it play out like the normal way. But I will say there's a force, I'm going to say beyond myself, my soul, that simply is not allowing me to do it. Because I might be going, I don't want to. Can we just like walk away and pacify? No, you will speak truth in a loving manner. You can stay in a very loving, heart-centered space and have a direct conversation that creates the availability for everyone to look at the dynamics. And it's kind of, if you stay in your truth, by default, it forces them to have some, what's that, when it reflects back on you? Some reflection, right? Whatever they do with it, we stay unattached. But I would encourage everybody to take every opportunity, even if it is uncomfortable, or take some work on our end being that force that is going to show up a new version. But gosh, it's here and it's exciting, and there might be some discomfort, and there might be some, I know I put them in an uncomfortable situation, but I'm going to say with pretty much the majority of the people are going to get it and show up with a new awareness of life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And well said. I know it's not the easiest thing to explain, is it? Because it's something that we feel and practice. And so, one of the reasons we're here is we're trying to put this into words so that, we can help others that are on this journey with us. One thing that came to mind when, Renee, so I know when I first heard, just be and then expand, I was like, what does that mean? So here's a really easy hack that anyone can do. And this is how I start. Well, this is one of the practices that I used. And that is, our natural state of being is joyful, peaceful, happy. A smile is a signal to your body that it's ready to expand. So practice this in the mirror. Just look in the mirror and smile. You can feel that shift. And I dare any of you to walk down the street, look at someone and smile, and tell me that the energy didn't change. That is how powerful you are. And that's expansion. That is expansion. So if you start just with a smile, you're giving an invitation to your body to expand, and then you can build on that. And then it's, be curious and say, ooh, how else can I expand? How can I expand this joy? How can I expand, or how do you expand peace? Renee, any ideas on that one?
Well, absolutely. The other thing that would be really great to do is, right now, if anybody's sitting down, I want you to pay attention to how your body is sitting. And I want you to now put your shoulders back and sit up a little straighter. And then just put that smile on your face and feel how different that is. Even just sitting up straighter, or if you're standing, like, stand up straighter, just stand up, because we tend to have this energy of us that we can't really be seen completely for who and what we are, because that's a scary thing, because people are going to think that I'm more than, I feel like, I'm better than them or whatever, even though you're not feeling that. You're projecting your thought of, this is what this person thinks of me. They're going to think, if I'm standing tall and, I'm there and I'm speaking my truth and I'm telling people how I really feel, there's a lot of fear out there, like, well, I can't say that to my boss, or I can't say that to my supervisor. When you're in this beautiful place of love, and this is your real truth, not your ego coming out and saying, this is this way, this is it. Pay attention to how it's being said. Feel that energy within you. If you feel all that anxiety, all that, like, oh my God, your anger, you're not coming from your soul's truth. You're coming from an ego place. And when you start to stop and just, are sitting quietly and saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to come back into me. And even if you don't sit quietly, if you're just sitting there thinking, I'm going to come back into me, I'm going to listen to my soul, I'm going to go into my soul. I see the energy going from out here, and it's a very chaotic, energy, going all crazy. And when you say or think, I'm going to come back into me, or I'm going to come into my soul, or I'm going to communicate with my soul, or just something with your soul, whatever words come to you, I see the energy go right back in and it starts to calm. Even just taking a deep breath in and exhaling out, it is such a, like I always see people's energy go whoop, like not that the first breath sometimes doesn't do that, but for a lot of people it does. So take a couple of those breaths, and that brings you back into that peaceful state of who and what you truthfully are. That beautiful knowing, that beautiful soul saying, hey, we're here to have fun and joy. You got confused and you thought that you're this human being here to have a spiritual experience. No, you're a spiritual being here to have a human experience. And it's supposed to be wonderful and joyful and happy, because believe it or not, we all chose to come here. And all the stuff that people refer to as the shit that they're experiencing, guess what? You were so excited to do that. Like I saw us in line waiting, like so excited to come here, like, look at all the stuff we're going to experience. The human element, that history in there, that's what got us confused. We started that separation on so many levels. And now it's going back in and just saying, surprisingly enough, I'm at peace. You will be shocked if all of a sudden you're breathing and you're paying attention to just your breath exactly as it is. You will be shocked at how different that is. It's not this huge thing that you have to do. Say it. I'm at peace.
Yeah.
I choose peace today. I choose peace now, and see what you feel.
Yeah. And that's a great, I want to double down on that one, Renee. When also, if you're new and beginning your own practice, like whatever your spiritual practice is, I know for some people say, well, I have a lot of chaos. My life situation right now is chaotic. And now you're telling me to be joyful. And one of the easiest and quickest intentions is to find peace and practice just getting into peace. And it can be moments. It doesn't have to be, right? And it's like, okay, 3 deep breaths, that 4, 5, 6 breathing, right? Make the exhale longer. In for 4, hold for 5, exhale. You are absolutely right, Renee. Even the second breath, you might be going, this is bullshit, right? I'm feeling like out of sorts right now. That third breath, you're in alignment again, and you're back, and now you're back in touch with your soul, and that's what overcomes you. And then you can just, and then milk it, stay in that for a few minutes, and just chill there. It's a good practice.
Also, in addition to that, I'd like to add the magnetics have changed drastically in the earth. The energies have changed. The magnetics have changed already and are changing. There's many you could speak to solar flares and Schumann resonance and there's been so many profound changes lately that if anyone's thinking, yeah, I've tried that, or it hasn't worked, or I'm not good at that, I'm telling you, there is a new availability that we have never had access to before, and it is amazing and profound. So try again, and try again with that knowing. If you know, I'm even practicing this and I see all this stuff and I know it, and I remind myself, oh my gosh, it's even more available. It's even more accessible. It's more powerful. So know that, and you'll have greater results. I think you'll be shocked and amazed. If you couldn't take a deep breath a week ago, try again with this knowing. Put this knowing into your field first. Oh my gosh, everything has changed. Because it has. So if you miss it, bring it in, because I'm telling you, it has changed.
That is a great point. Yeah, well, we're getting more light. We're becoming more light, sentient beings. We are sentient beings. And what we're doing is incorporating more light. And you're absolutely right, Tracy, that the accessibility is now there because we've cleared the fog's gone now. The fog is gone. So now the clarity is there, the accessibility is there, and it takes a lot less effort than probably when the 3 of us were, doing our journey. We had to like get through the mud, but now it's completely accessible. And when you just play with it a little bit, you can feel it like that. You feel results right away.
Absolutely. And actually, a lot of times, and I know, for me, things are starting to change. Like you recognize in your life, you're like, okay, wait, something's going on there. I don't want to be this, or, this is happening. Okay, well, I remember them saying I'm going to breathe. So they start breathing. And then all of a sudden you start doing other things. And all of a sudden your life starts to like, calm down. You're like, wow, this is really nice. It is so easy to stop doing that. It's so easy to stop doing all the work that you're doing. Like, oh, I don't have to breathe. And you don't even recognize you stopped until all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, what's happening with my life again? Or somebody says something like, oh, you know what? I don't even remember when I stopped mirror work or when I stopped doing, the fight or flight breath or just breathing or just saying I'm peace or saying my day is going to be great or having my quiet time. You don't recognize. So the key really is like what I used to do was put a reminder in my phone that would go off, that it would, say like, find peace or, say your affirmation or whatever it was. So that would, jar me to do that. And before the cell phones were doing that, I would write it down on a piece of paper and I would have it like on my mirror or just someplace or on my desk, someplace where I would periodically just see it on the refrigerator. Like it would be breathe or just, or I just have my affirmation, whatever it was I was doing, because we don't recognize we stop doing it. Our life calms down and you're not in that crazy havoc anymore. And then you just stop doing the work. It's really imperative to keep doing it because that is going to make the shift and the change.
Absolutely, Renee. And especially if you get thrown a curveball.
Mm.
And when you get into the habit of, oh, okay, I don't have to respond or react right now. My responsibility right now is 3 deep breaths and get back stay in my power. Let me just find peace right now. And in that moment of stillness is when you are now, that's when you allow guidance to come in. And many times you end up not having to do or say shit. It gets resolved. But the old way was, right? Oh, we need a solution. Oh, let me think about it. Let me chew on it. These are all things that you're on the struggle bus and you're in fear. You're in fear. When things blow up, if you can get in the habit and going, okay, I know in the past I hold my breath, which is what we all do. Our breathing becomes shallow, energy is not flowing. And then now, where are you? Oh, give me a VIP seat on the struggle bus, and let me get back on this. And instead just going, okay, oh, this just got presented to me. Let me take those 3 deep breaths and stay in my power. And then just let it be. And let it be, because that power from you emanates outward. And it's like you literally have the ability to generate a healing of the situation just by going into peace in that moment.
Yeah. And what I want to say is all these curveballs that are being thrown and people are like, oh my God, all this shit's hitting the fan. Well, guess what? When you're doing this work, and it might not be this way for everybody, okay? But a lot of times what I'm saying is when we're doing this work, we're shifting. Okay, you're shifting the energy within. Remember, our life out here is all a reflection of what's going on inside. Okay, so if all of a sudden you're shifting and you're becoming more peaceful and more calm, your mind sometimes, or just life in general, is going to say, okay, now everything's falling apart out here. It's even worse than it was. I started doing this work and now it's even worse. I'm going to stop doing this. What is really happening is your body is saying, look at, you are doing really great. Look at all the stuff that you're cleared. Look at how you're shifting. And what it says is, now I know that you're ready to bring this forward. It's something that's sitting within us. You're going to bring this forward. I'm going to throw this forward for you because you're doing so great. I know that you're ready to let this go. So it brings shit forward. And all of a sudden we see shit out here, right? Everything's like falling apart. These curveballs are huge and everything's throwing. You're thinking the whole life is falling apart. What the hell am I going to do? That's when you've got to stop and you got to take that breath. And you're going to be like, oh, my system is bringing this forward because it knows I'm going to get rid of it. It's just asking you. And literally, I see the body saying to the people, like, I thought you were going to get rid of that. What you did was you actually bought into the old thing. Oh, I thought I let this go. Everything's been going so good. I thought I let this go forever ago. How come this is here? don't let that go. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this forward for me to let go. I now send it love and I let it go into its own light. Sometimes just the recognition of what it is. Thank you so much. I'm recognizing you. All of a sudden, I just see it like just disintegrate.
Yep.
The energy to it disintegrate. The whole body shifts and changes. So don't think of, let's just reframe that whole thing of all the shit hitting the fan. It's your system saying, hey, you're ready to let this shit go. You're moving forward into that peace and that calm and that fun, that joy, love, whatever it is for you. But do you really want to let this go? Because look, I'm giving it to you and you're buying into it. So let that
old timeline. You can literally look at it and say, oh, that's my old timeline. Thank you. It's okay for you to, like, literally, that is when that becomes a habit and you have that knowing and that faith inside of you that, oh gosh, that's my old timeline. That's not what I'm creating now. And then shift back to, okay, what do I want to create? What am I creating now? And, cool. Like, kiss it and wish it well. Thank you for showing me this, but that's not even, and you literally, it's like you're setting an energetic boundary for yourself too, and just saying, oh, wow. I think of it like a movie going by. Oh, that was an old timeline and now I'm in my new timeline and here's what I'm creating. So that's just, it's gone. You can, like I said, bless it, wish it well. It served you. That's the key. Don't judge it. You must not judge it. Give it love, but then like, adios, MF, out of here. Because my new timeline is bigger and better and more fun.
Yeah. Thanking it and having appreciation is huge. Go ahead, Tracy.
Well, I'm going to expand this because it's not just your timeline. How I see it is when you start expanding your energy, those closest to you, by default, this is how energy works. They start to entrain to you. So they really don't even have to do the work. If they're going to stay in your field, they entrain, which means they're going to be put in situations that I like to say are opportunities for clear out and expansion, which most people would say it's chaos and a shit show. No. It's an amazing opportunity because we need to clear all that stuff out. So to be aware that those around you, and again, I always say I have children still in the house, I have businesses, for me to witness what could be viewed as a chaotic situation is, awesome, it's happening. Whereas it's deconstruction, it's a dismantling, which for most people, we want control, we want what we know. Well, we don't like dismantling, we don't like destruction. And I'm kind of secretly, woo, it's all falling apart. Well, most people don't like it to fall apart. And I say we need it to fall apart because the new's coming through. So it's not just our bodies and our timelines, it's honoring that those around us, if we keep doing this, which we want to do, I want to do, they will start shifting unbeknownst to them. And perhaps they're not trying, they're not doing anything. It's our energy that is shifting them. And we will see an outpicturing of this. And it will most likely in all circumstances in the beginning look chaotic and look like a deconstruction. And this is a great thing. We want this. Not only love it and get through it, yay, it's happening.
Yeah. You're witnessing the change. You're witnessing the change. And it's better. It's all it's in your best and highest good. And when you just keep, that's the thing, you have faith in that. This is in my best and highest good. And now it can be excited. Ooh, I can't wait to see like what's coming next, right? This is creation happening. And then there's the void too. Be comfortable in the void and say, okay, so now things blew up and then there's that middle period. And then you don't go into that old struggle bus where I have to do something. No, now is now get into that peace. Allow what that void, the universe loves a void and it's going to fill it. It's going to fill it. And so that's where the peace comes into play, right?
Yeah. And I also want to say, what I don't think people recognize, at least I didn't, a long time ago, is when we are saying something, okay, so you're in the shit show and you start to tell everybody around you, like, oh my God, this is happening, but that's okay, I'm going to change it. But they're saying that what you're not understanding and recognizing is that energy is going out and it's getting bigger. Now, you've told your friend, or you told your family, whatever. It's expanding, expanding, expanding. And they're carrying that energy with you. So now it's magnified, and it's sort of like almost like, puzzle pieces coming together. So now something's come together. Now you get all these other people creating it for you. And, oh, poor thing. Do you hear all the shit that they're going through? Oh my God. What is that doing? That's feeding it. And because we're all connected, they're now bringing that energy into you.
Yep.
So
Entangled.
yeah, they can be
Yeah.
somebody completely different, but they're talking about it. You've already talked about, so you've got that energetic connection even further on all the bullshit. Okay, so now the bullshit's coming, and now they're talking about now expanding, and that energy is coming right into you. The same thing with sickness. People will say, "Oh, I have this, and that. Oh, poor thing. Oh my God." Da, da, da. Okay, so even if you start to shift and you start to change, and I'm not saying don't tell people, but really be cautious and aware of what you're doing and who you're telling. Because when you're actually saying that, and now they're carrying it, oh, I feel so bad for you. I mean, how many people have had these diagnoses where they're, oh my God, I've been so sick for so long, for years and years and years. And you're like, oh my God, this poor thing. Now that pity energy is coming in. That engulfs you into this energetic field. Now you decide, you know what? I'm going to change, and I'm not going to buy into this anymore. And you start to do all the things. And I always really believe that there's a, really union together of the medical doctors in this field, because sometimes the mind needs something to get on board to say, oh wait, I can let this go, I can heal this. And that's usually the doctor says this and this, but don't take what they say as this golden
Yeah.
rule of whatever, this is what's going to happen. You create what you want. So all of a sudden you're saying, now I'm going to do this differently. I'm not going to buy into this whole thing. I'm going to start to shift. I'm going to start to change. Now your friends are going, oh, how are you doing? What's happening? They're feeding. You are continually being barraged with that energy. So you literally are fighting for your light on a daily basis when you're trying to get out, and that's coming to you. So you need to really, an easy way to get rid of all that stuff is to disconnect. When you say disconnect, or you're feeling drained, or you're around people, whatever, you're just feeling like, oh my God, what is happening? Or, oh, I have all these negative thoughts, because they're bringing that sickness back to you. And this goes with anything, not just sickness, but to the point when you say disconnect, you're telling your system we're disconnecting from that energy.
Yeah.
And the more you're in that peace, that calm, and you're speaking your truth with this love, the more you're automatically going to be there. So when people are coming at you with that stuff, it's allowing you to go back into that safety zone and that whatever. But please recognize everything you're talking about is just magnifying, magnifying, magnifying. So if you have to talk shit, have your thought be when you're talking the shit, I'm cancel, replace this with the opposite as I say it, as I'm thinking it, like let it go. And then even afterwards, you can say that. Cancel, replace all of that with the opposite.
Yeah. And I learned something from you, Renee, that I love. And that is, please bring me back into full alignment. Please bring me fully back into my body, and just bring that energy into yourself again, into alignment. And so we all get put in these situations where we have an opportunity to shift this. Misery doesn't love company. Misery loves misery. And like, if somebody is in a shit show, you have two choices. You can either go into love, or you can get a fan out and help disperse more shit. And the love is the more powerful energy of the two. And so what do we do when someone is, oh, this went bad and this matter, instead of, oh, that's terrible, I'm sorry, I love you, how can I support you? What can I do to help you feel better? You can set the tone and make them feel safe and say, I understand what you're going through. Like, choose your words, start playing with language that works. And you can, and do this as a journal exercise. It's great. We all know somebody that has the long-standing illness. And so how can I help them? Because you're not helping them when you say, oh, that's terrible. Oh, I know someone that's had it for 40 years. Okay, you're getting your fan and spraying shit all over. So instead, okay, well, I'm going to hold my space of love. What they really want right now is love. And So what language can I come up with in this moment that's not spreading shit, that's helping them, right? And it's, I hear you. You can just say that. I hear you and I understand, but don't double down on the doom and gloom. And, you know, what can I do to make you feel better right now? What can we do to, right? And try to explore that with some curiosity and pay attention to when you're, don't trauma bonding doesn't work. I
Or you
mean,
could do how I come in sometimes. I come in with that. That's fucking bullshit. Drop that. Because honestly, that is love. And sometimes, and that's what I feel like I'm being called to come in with that strong. And I'm saying, in my opinion, I think it's okay. I think sometimes it's okay to come in and go, that is bullshit. Drop the story. I'm not buying it. We're done having that conversation.
Yeah.
It's a
And
little
I think it's if you know the person. We're
well,
talking
yeah.
about people, like not that if you meet a stranger and they're,
Well,
drop your bullshit.
oh, no.
But
You guys are speaking to illness, which is a more sensitive subject.
right.
I'm talking about taxation or the school system. If you're a stranger on the street and you want to engage in a conversation at a certain level, I will tell you, I think that's fucking bullshit. I don't walk around eggshells anymore to be politically correct I do. And this is kind of what we're speaking to like to stand up in truth that I get. Most people can't do it, but I can and I will. I would never not be sensitive to someone's situation. I'm talking about world narrative that I'm done. I'm not regurgitating that bullshit. I'm not standing with you with a loving presence. I'm not. I'm saying that's bullshit. And I'm not putting any more energy into it, even in a soft, loving space, so you can keep spiraling in it. I'm the one that goes right in the middle of it and says, we're going to disintegrate that crap.
But let's take that even, Tracy, let's take that even to sickness. I mean, I've said to clients further, I'm like, oh my God, I've got this. And I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. Like, stop that story. That's not the story you're creating from this moment forward. Like because they have all the things the doctor said that they're always like saying this person said, they're not coming into them. So I think even in a case of sickness, calling the bullshit on, look, it's bullshit what the narrative you've got. Let's flip that over for you. Because I don't think that they recognize that. Like there's so many things within this world right now that people are so afraid to say, oh, well, they have sick, I can't really say this. No, call it on them. Like say, no, look at, you need to shift, you need to change, because even illness, your system is trying to tell you something. It's saying, hey, there's something in here. Get the fuck out. Like, what are we going to do with this? So when you call that on them, like, oh, wait a minute, you know what? You're right. I bought into everybody else. I didn't come into me. Why did my system create this? What am I to experience? There's always a something. And I can say, anytime I've ever dealt with anybody with cancer, that particular illness, I'm telling you, every single person that I've seen, I have seen that energetic separation, and it's always about them taking care of somebody else. Well, what is cancer about? You can't do shit. People got to do you. They got to take care of you. They have to, you're forced to be
to accept,
to accept, to receive, to ask for help. So I say, call bullshit when they're saying sick. You're saying bullshit to your friggin' mind. Let's change that.
Well, I agree. I just didn't want to be harsh about it, but also, well, my people in my life, they know me well enough that I'll call that shit out in 2 seconds flat, like meh. But also, why wouldn't you want it to be the alternative of that? Your body is miraculous. I don't understand why people would not want that to be what the truth is. I really can't wrap my head around, oh no, but okay, fine.
Yeah. What do you want to create?
Exactly.
What do you want to create and how can you hold that space? Wow. Well, this one flew by, ladies. And thank you. What a
good.
Juicy. I know it's a juicy discussion. I think we're just going to hit pause on this subject and dive back in on another episode. But thank you for listening today. And please hit the subscribe button if you like what you're hearing. And we love hearing your feedback and your comments. And ladies, thank you.